What's up? What's up, you guys? Alright, so it's time and date. We're gonna start off with S&P 500. So this was tariff news. This was, what news was this? This was tariff news. No. This was government shutdown. This was government shutdown opening. And I think this either could have been the Fed with their interest rates on Wednesday. But after Wednesday, starting getting the bay up, that's what it was. Okay, yeah. So look how the market's been acting where it's at. So far, we really been, we created new all-time highs, but we're kind of just consolidating. We're back at October 9th all-time high, which is October 10th, when we had, what was it? I forgot what was the tariffs? I think it could have been something with tariffs. If it was that major big of a drop, probably tariffs, something with China. I forgot what bullshit it was. So here, the S&P 500, here we are in the forward candle. Notice how we're back on October 9th area. Yeah, we created, like I said, all-time highs, but we've been pretty much consolidating. On top of that, we've been getting, just the fear right now is AI bubble oversold if you think they're pretty much selling all these AI stocks or whatnot. But at the same time, just how they put everything together. So first, you had your the Fed. The Fed was coming up, releasing their interest rate decision. Everybody was happy. Yay, we got our cut. But then we started getting bad data after that. Things were going good with us, right? And on top of that, we were fucking falling. And then here comes the government shutdown. And this is what I was telling the homie. I was like, hey, look, we're falling, right? We're falling. There's 2 more weeks, or technically this last week was your second, but technically there was back. So right here, even though it was the first week, I was thinking ahead. I was like, all right, so first week we're down. So either this, you got Thanksgiving coming up, you got all these flights bullshit coming up, you have all these military not getting their money and whatnot. So all this shit is making you look bad. By you, I mean Twitter, man, and your crew. So it's making you guys look bad. You guys needed to relieve the market after all this bad news that the market is dropping. So you're gonna have to open the government pretty soon. But if you do, you also know that the data that's gonna come out in a whole month is gonna be bad. You mean tell me that for a full month, the important data that we're supposed to get, all of it was good? So I was like, they're gonna have to then show the numbers, and they're probably gonna be bad, and the market's gonna drop even more. So that whole yay, the government is open, is gonna go into the holy fuck, we're fucking screwed. So then what they did was, hey, well, we can't get the numbers because the computers and the people weren't there, and like we'll guess we'll never know, but we'll try to reschedule it and move it here and try to get these data out, whatever the scrap that we have, to show maybe where we were. And then when you heard that, you would then think, holy shit, well, what does the Fed always say? When they ask him, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? He always says, we don't go based off what we think. We go based on data. Whatever the data says, that's what we go on. So if they have no data, if they're blind to that data, then that makes sense why the stock market will drop now, because now in their mind is, oh fuck, is so we gonna get the rate cuts on December or we're not? And that's how the market is reacting. On top of that, your fucking bad data and your markets, it's like a domino effect or whatnot. And this is what gave me the first warnings just a couple of weeks ago. Now I'm gonna move on to Bitcoin and Ethereum. How Bitcoin and Ethereum warned me that something was off here, because again, Bitcoin and Ethereum is like silver and gold. Let me explain what I mean by this. I don't know. I said I'm gonna talk to Bitcoin and Ethereum, but let me explain how Bitcoin and Ethereum was like silver and gold. Ethereum is lighter, it moves more, and Bitcoin is heavier, so it really blasts off, but it really needs a lot to get the rhythm going. That's why you'll see Ethereum uh, give it your signal first. Not physically, not because gold is heavier than silver and whatnot, but just market wise, and also how the way they move physically. They're also above the way the watch. Let me show you. Enough talking. So back here, when silver did a forward candle, back here when silver dropped, I was telling my friend, silver and gold are gonna start creating support in this region here because how thick the area is. Let me go to the daily. You see how, just imagine this as a invisible foundation that goes like this. So when the market comes down, it's having a hard time drilling through it, hitting it, until it finally smashes it. Then here would have been your next stop. And the same. From here, cancel. And in general, this whole thing can be looked as one big support area. So as the market was doing this and playing out, I told them, hey, silver and gold are going to start consolidating. They're waiting for some major news. We still have the government shutdown happening. So a bunch of data also. So it makes sense for gold and silver to consolidating here in this region. And let me take you with gold. Gold was doing the same thing. Here's your stop area. Notice after this it has a hard time breaking, and your next area to for a stop would be right here in this region. You have a stick support right here in the weekly. So again, let me show you what I mean by this. So notice how they're both consolidating, not perfectly, but they're both consolidating. They both mimic each other too. Not perfectly, but they mimic each other. Just that one goes faster than the other one. Let me show you what I mean by this. So right here we have gold, and your forward candle. Okay, here's gold, forward candle. Sunday, let me see, let me go to 1 hour candle. Sunday at at 6, it was finally breaking out from this area where it was consolidating. Sunday 18. And here silver, I think it's silver. Silver was still way below the consolidating area, whereas gold was sticking up. So just like Bitcoin and gold, silver isn't always gonna move first, and gold isn't always gonna move. I mean, isn't always gonna move first, or likewise, it's not that Ethereum has to move first to let you know where Bitcoin's going. They both indicate you in a certain way, but if you know how to, if you have them, if you have them marked down with all this shit right here in your boxes, you can start seeing. Because the way I see it, I divide just like these Fibonacci's divide the market into certain sections, and if you follow them, you'll start seeing them. Damn, like these Fibonacci's line up in important support areas or resistance areas, like right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. You go to your weekly, no weekly, like 12-hour candle, right here, right here, right here. So that's what got me doing all these lines. I was like, yo, the smaller I go on these Fibonacci's, is an 8-hour candle. I noticed they would line up right where these resistance support areas would be at. Right here, right here, right here. So the more I started to do that, I was like, well, if the Fibonacci, it's like, so just like the Fibonacci, as I go down the time frame, has the numbers of Fibonacci's marked up and everything, that's how, I started putting all these main Fibonacci's, 50 Fibonacci's, or just Fibonacci also. 50 Fibonacci's in the area around the market, around the graph. That way, when um, I'm moving around the graphs, I know where the 50 Fibonacci's at on every single one of them, and I can know which Fibonacci or which price is gonna be harder to break or whatnot. Or if there's certain data, we're waiting for certain data, I'm able to understand where the candle's gonna go, especially in particular the S&P 500, not silver or gold, but in particular the S&P 500. And then that's why you see all these fucking lines, and every line represents light blue is a weekly, and so on, so on, so on. And that's where you see these 50 Fibonacci's, and their color, different color represent time frame. Your orange is daily. Your red is 4-hour candle. Your 1-hour candle is white is 1-hour candle, and so on. And I also, that's where you see these boxes. I like to break the market down. So as certain data is coming out, or however the candles are closing, and on top of that, with my indicator, I can understand where the market is gonna stop, and based on the time where it could lead to. So, anyways, let me go back to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Don't want to make this shit too long and confusing, even though I fucking already made people confused. So, if you see right here, this is Bitcoin. Bitcoin daily. Bitcoin's peak. All right. So Bitcoin's peak was at, or in, October 7th. Since October 7th, we've been on this downtrend. Let me erase all this bullshit. And then if you know there's a downtrend line, So I noticed that since October 7th, we were dropping. And this area, and especially this area right here, was very important. So this was the second signal. And especially after this, October 29th, I was like, something's weird here. Because then if you go to the S&P 500, October 29, I was like, that's when you start seeing also the S&P 500 going on down, right? But you still get this push on up. So that's when I wouldn't get it. I was like, why is November 10th to 13? November 7 to 13. 7 through 13. And we keep on dropping again. So then it started making sense towards the end. But right here in the middle, it didn't. What made sense to me was the 8-hour candle. Because right here, we had a 3-candle box forming. And I was like, all right, based on where the S&P was at that time, so November 9th to the 10th. Ninth through the 10th, we were going up. So I was like, all right, so if we continue going on up, and the 13th where we actually began dropping. All right, so 9 to the 10. So if we continue going on up, right here, here's Bitcoin, the 9th. All right, if we continue going up with S&P in that area and it breaks, we're gonna be very bullish. But if the S&P starts breaking on down, since we're not that fucking far away from the danger zone, because another thing I pointed out to the homie was, hey, pay attention, Kyle. This could be the bottom for Bitcoin, especially when we're right here. I told him, pay attention how we're creating a thick ass support. How we're creating strong support. I was like, what's gonna happen through the morning? We should see Bitcoin and Ethereum start going up to have this confirmation or whatnot of still bullishness or still got something going on. And you were seeing the same thing with Ethereum. I was like, you see how Ethereum is doing the same thing? I was like, it's gonna have to do it right now. It's most likely it was. Let me see what it was. It was over the weekend, yeah. So it made sense also, because again, Bitcoin and Ethereum let you know how the market is feeling throughout the weekend. So since it was Saturday night into Sunday morning, crypto market does this upward movement pressure to let you know that, okay, we're still good, the market's still good. Like right now we have a 3-candle box forming over here. So we're still good. And it was towards the end of the weekend, the last week. So I was like, okay, it's gonna have to do it Saturday night or Sunday morning. We're gonna have to see that move. And we saw that move. But then once it was seeing where the S&P was at, the whatever day it was coming out, I told the homie again, like, hey, if we start having fucking bad data with the S&P 500, seeing where we were at, we were fucking where we were at. We were up here. And I was like, if the S&P starts coming down, we're gonna be back in this danger area right here. And once we come to that area, let me mark it again with lines, with alarms, and you can visually see this shit. So here was the area to hold. Here's just your area to stay away from, and this is where we were. So this is where we were. This area they want to stay away from. And what else did I say? And then the bottom one was the ending of it. Yeah, the ending of it. So in here was your area to actually here was your area to fucking go for a sell. This was your last chance inside of this box right here. That's why that's important. So when the S&P started fucking going down and started doing this shit right here, I was like, yo, it's happening. You're gonna see Bitcoin and Ethereum start going down, and once they break those true and important support areas, the market's gonna be panicking. Also, why it's gonna be panicking? Because if you would have seen Ethereum's weekly 50 Fibonacci, it's fucking right there. So you're like, oh my gosh, this is very crucial, important. This is very fucking important. Why? Because this is a week coming up, and we're at the 50 Fibonacci. This normally indicates to you, hey, this is your bottom, especially if we close above. And this next week, especially Monday through Wednesday, what do we have Wednesday? The FOMC. So it's gonna sustain these fucking days most likely above, doing all this fucking bullshit in between the 50 Fibonacci, because that's also most likely a 3 monthly or some bullshit like that. Let me see. No, 6 monthly, 3 monthly. Oh, we're in the 3 monthly also area right here. So this is crucial for Ethereum to be very bullish. Why? Because again, if we close this week right here, then again we're gonna try to maintain it, unless we have some sort of data Monday and Tuesday that's gonna fucking pull it. But again, that's what's gonna happen. If we have data Monday and Tuesday, we're gonna be consolidating, very volatile. It's gonna be, are we above a 50? Are we? That's what we're gonna do next week. Especially if this week we stay above the weekly 50 Fibonacci for Ethereum. The FOMC, it's either gonna fucking pull us on down, and the market is gonna fucking be panicking. Well, you guys are, but the smart ones are gonna be buying like a motherfucker, and or the FOMC is gonna save us and it's gonna keep up above the 50 weekly 50 Fibonacci, and a weekly 50 Fibonacci is very important. So in the big picture, if in the big picture you're bullish, that's what fucking matters. Not all these fucking little small ones, 4 hour candle, 2 hour candle, 50 Fibonacci's, and this. No, you want to look at the monthly, weekly, dailies, especially 3 monthlies, to see where where everything's really going, to look at the play, how the play could play out. So that's what also told me, holy shit, yo, we're about to fucking really sink, or we're gonna get saved. And it just so happened that this week we're coming with the FOMC, but since the market was closed, that's where you're seeing everybody sell, 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 because they know what the possibilities will be coming up this next week. And then let's look at Bitcoin. When you look at Bitcoin's weekly Fibonacci, also that's why it's important this area to hold up here. Let me put where the weekly Fibonacci is at. Right there. Fucking hate that shit. Okay, never mind. There you go. Puta madre. Where you guys? I'm on it. All right. Puta madre. There you go. Okay, there you go. All right. So weekly 50 Fibonacci. Go to OK. Go to the daily. Yeah, see? Yup. And especially, watch, let me see if it had. Oh, I erased it. Did I fucking erase it or no? I better not this fucking Bitcoin. Okay, let's go back. um, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So here, this was the part. Okay, let's go to the daily. And then, so that's what the weekly 50 Fibonacci was at. And here were your support that we so badly need to stay above and in between here. Let's do it again. So we go to 1 hour candle. Again, so both Bitcoin and Ethereum, along with weekly trend lines, Fibonacci that were underneath all this, were telling me, yo, both Ethereum and Bitcoin are telling me that we could be fucking having a mass drop coming soon again. And then I told the homie that I sent him a video explaining to him how this would trigger whatnot, especially if the S&P started going on down. So this is how Bitcoin was warning me that in Ethereum that we were gonna drop down on October 8th or whatnot earlier. Oh shit. And then because the S&P 500 ended up breaking on down to the 13th. That's why here on Thursday, the 13th, that's where you're seeing this mass drop. Let me see. Let me go to the S&P. And here's the, oh my bad. And here's a, so you see how the market was rallying up while Bitcoin was shaking on down and having these fucking crazy drops. So as S&P was doing this, a 1 hour candle, and here you have Wednesday, your Thursday coming up. So I seen this and I see where Ethereum and Bitcoin were. I was like, oh yo, if we start going down, then that's gonna bring Bitcoin and Ethereum down to that crucial support that it was creating, that they were creating, and it's the market's gonna go down. We're gonna have another crash, and bam. So these were so easy to fucking see happening, and how they use the whole government shutdown as a, yeah, we did it. But then when you saw them P on Wednesday and you didn't see no breakout at your important time, which was your 11:40, no, your 12:45 to 1:30, because we closed a 4 candle, actually a 12-hour candle at 3, I believe. It needed to go for that strong fucking move and close the 12-hour candle up here. So then as the market opened, yeah, market is reacting strong as the government opens and all that fucking bullshit. But no, it didn't. Why? Because we're having data released the next day that wasn't fucking being able to be released because the government shut down. So how the market reacted to it, as the data came out at 6:30 and the market opened at 7, and then we were waiting for Friday's news. We were nervous. It came out, and guess where it stopped? Right in the 3 monthly support. So to me, that would make sense. Like, if the data came out at 6:30, which that was the time, and we were right below the 3 monthly, then we would have fucking seen even more, because of all the fear that we had and the bad data that we got. So they would have been selling way before, like they were originally, and this would have been a fucking crazy ass drop. Choom. This would have been a crazy ass drop. So the fact that it did this, I was like, oh, options call like a motherfucker. These dummies thought the market was gonna go down, it's gonna stay like this. Go for option calls. Easy money. So that's how Bitcoin and Ethereum were telling me that we're gonna keep on dropping, especially looking ahead what data was gonna be released. It's like, oh shit, this is what's gonna happen with the market. So, anyways, you guys, tomorrow I'm gonna hop on, see where Bitcoin is at right now. It's still very bullish. What do you want to see on Sunday? especially like 6 in the morning, 9 in the morning. You don't want to see Bitcoin or Ethereum having these mass drops on down, especially to this area here. Notice how they just been consolidating, especially Ethereum. Ethereum is barely hanging above, like I said, above that 50 Fibonacci. So any drop on Sunday night, and then closing the week like that, especially if the market opens, it's gonna tell you, yo, the market's not happy. The S&P is gonna open way lower than where it's at. Or if we sustain this, it just tell me, okay, the S&P is gonna open about the same area, and we're gonna leave off where we left off. That's what this is gonna tell me. Jones Wine, say hi. Make Joe. What's up, people? But yeah, hope that made any fucking sense. And I'll hop on tomorrow. Also, BM Bitmine is pretty much like what's the fucking face? MicroStrategy owns Bitcoin, so it moves like Bitcoin. Same shit with Bitmine, it moves like Ethereum. And this is telling me based on after how when Tom Lee got and bought this fucking stock from $7 to fucking 157. Notice how where it stopped. It stopped in I call these the floating island, where the market will stay just support above there and give you a clean, nice area where the market could tend to go in, instead of having some crazy moves over like this where you can't really create a perfect nice little support area like this. This is nice and clean. So the fact that it closed like that, I was like, holy shit, we're about to break a crucial support. So either this is gonna be a good fucking bottom and it's gonna be a nice area to go for a call, especially fucking hitting 50 easily in the next probably 4 months. No financial advice. Or especially these next 2 weeks, especially tomorrow. I mean, this next week coming up with the FOM, it could trigger a massive drop, bringing it to prices fucking that haven't been for a minute. Imagine this bitch fucking hitting mid 20s, mid 20s, 20s, 15s. That's gonna bring Ethereum on down like crazy. That means Ethereum's gonna be down like crazy. That means Bitcoin's gonna be down like crazy. That's what this I use this as an indicator to also let me know where Ethereum's at, and this tell me, hey, this could be this could be it, or this could be, and especially both Bitmine and Ethereum are telling you why, because Ethereum is holding above that crucial weekly, and Bitmine is holding this crucial monthly support. So, anyways. Hope this made helped you guys, and also how strong probably Zcash is. Yup, Zcash is right now. I noticed that while Bitcoin and Ethereum were crashing, Zcash has been pumping. So I believe that if Bitcoin and Ethereum start going down, you're gonna start seeing more of a Zcash going on up. Let's see what my indicator says. Because I know there's a core right here. 12-hour candle, daily, weekly, monthly. Nice support in this area right here. So, anyways, and I believe even if this Ethereum goes up and Bitcoin, I believe they're still gonna follow. But I feel like people are using this as a safe haven since now they've been getting more attention, and especially after people, I think they were gonna point out influencers, whatnot. They're gonna say, "Hey, look how much this coin has been going up. Meanwhile, Bitcoin and Ethereum has been consolidating or dropping, and this is not." And the more attention it gets, the more it's gonna pump up, I guess. I think. Besides that, I'll hop on tomorrow, you guys, and see where the market is, Bitcoin and Ethereum, and after that, I'll do another video seeing how the S&P open and what to look out for this week. That's gonna and how the market might react. Alright, guys. Anyways, this is Brian Seacrest signing out.